Bobby Hebert is the former Saints quarterback. He works pregame, halftime, postgame for the Saints WWL radio. And Bobby joins us now. How's the voice today, Bobby?
Well, Dad, I tell you what, you're not supposed to scream in the press box, but my head is still ringing, and it wouldn't be hurting as much if the Saints would have won the game. And I got a stat today for you.
Okay.
It was the Saints' first loss this season when holding the opponent scoreless on the opening drive. So, listen, the Saints were 8-0 before Sunday, so I thought when that happened, Saints are going to win. Getting off to a great start in the first quarter. It was probably the loudest first quarter in NFL history. You know, it was the loudest stadium in a game. I think it was the loudest first quarter. The Rams looked so dysfunctional they could not communicate. I think they did. They adjusted well, considering how the game turned out.
Why was this game so close? If this is a Saints team at home, Drew Brees and Sean Payton don't lose home games in the playoffs, and you're up 13-0.
Well, I can tell you, Drew Brees, the latter part of the season did not play great. You know, he was up for MVP. He can't just be good; he has to be great. And they didn't get touchdowns in the red zone. If you look, they were only 2 of 5, and you say, well, no, they have not struggled in the red zone. They had the fourth best red zone offense. For instance, you look at the Eagles. They were the number 1 red zone defense. In the 2 games when they played the Eagles, they ended up with 7 for 8 in the red zone getting touchdowns. So they didn't finish. And when you get in the red zone, you can't set up with field goals. When that game started and it was 6-0, you know, Dan Arnold drops a touchdown pass, a Division III player. The moment's too big for him. Instead of 6-0, it should have been 10-0 or 14-0 at that point, and we know how close the game was, so all those little things make a difference.
What did you see in real time on the controversial call, no call?
Real time, listen, it's not even a judgment call. It was so obvious. You know, a judgment call to me is bang, bang, or whatever. No, it was so obvious. You could be 100 yards away and throw the flag. That's why I think, I think officials, Eagles, they don't want to step on each other. So they kind of, okay, I'm afraid to call that because, maybe that's not the area that I need to be throwing the flag. But you got to get it right. The bottom line, you got to get it right. There was more than one penalty on that play. I mean, to me, when you break it down, it's the worst no call in NFL history. The reason why it's the worst no call in NFL history, because that was a non-call to go to the Super Bowl. It wasn't week 4 or 5. Oh, we lost a tough one. Now we got to bounce back in the season. No, this was to go to the Super Bowl. Now, it was like 98% chance they're going to win if you just make that call. Now, you can always miss a field goal, a chip shot. It's even closer than an extra point. And the Rams, in theory, would have had about a 2% chance to win. You know, maybe, I don't know, a Rams miracle like it was in Minneapolis, but it had like 15 seconds. The bottom line is the Saints got job, but Dan, I know exactly what the NFL needs to do.
Okay.
And just the optics of this, to look right. You could not have an official from Los Angeles or from California doing a Rams or Chargers game. For instance, you could not have an official, because this goes on right now, you could not have an official from Louisiana or from the Gulf Coast, the Gulf South, because we got fans all the way Mobile, Alabama, Pensacola, Florida, doing a Saints game. It does not look good when you have maybe, because everyone grew up somewhere. To me, like, for instance, if you those California referees, you got to go do the Patriots-Chiefs game. You don't do the local team. And I think the NFL has to address this. You know, the cost of flying these officials all over, having them really full-time, because they have to be held competent, because that is a call that you cannot miss. You cannot even miss that call in high school or any time. That would be interference, whether it's the 40s, 50s, 60s, any decade of football, that's an obvious interference call. And at the NFL level, to go to the Super Bowl, come on. It costs people a lot of money, a lot of players, a lot of lives, a lot of legacies. That's why it's unacceptable.
Okay, but you're saying that, is it just the optics of having a referee from California, or is there a bias that you think was there consciously or subconsciously?
Well, you don't need that perception because the betting public or how the public views things. The same thing in college football when you look at the SEC. And you look how we're football crazy down here and what officials call what games. I think it makes a difference that you cannot afford to have. It has to be, everything has to look the perception on the up and up. Because some people, they'll just say, oh, well, that person's from Los Angeles. And you might say, well, no, I'm an honest individual, but I think it's human nature. You never know. Listen, like they've never had scandals before. Look, European, Italians, professional soccer. I mean, look what happened in the NBA. I mean, that's why, to me, you have to avoid that possibly down the road. I mean, how can that individual not call or somebody in that crew throw the flag? It wasn't like bang, bang. It was so obvious you could be over 100 yards away and make that call.
Talking to Bobby Hebert, former Saints quarterback. He's now a broadcaster for the Saints on WWL radio. Trying to get over what happened, the miracle in Minneapolis last year. I commend the Saints for being able to recover. I really have doubts about how they'll recover if they recover from something like this, Bobby. As talented as they are, this one's hard to get over. What happened in Minneapolis, that's devastating. This one, I think this is going to stay with you a long time. What do you think about the Saints trying to get over this next season?
Well, I can tell you this right now, and this is coming out of Sean Payton's mouth in the post-game press conference. He said that we'll probably never get over it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, I am telling you, you might say, well, time heals everything. But when something like this happens, because you're so close but so far to go to the Super Bowl, that Vikings game was a division game. This was to go to the Super Bowl. Listen, the Saints aren't going anywhere. The Saints have a young enough team, and what I mean by that, they're going to have double-digit wins. The Saints are still in the hunt, but what does that mean? You have a great competitive team. It's hard to get to the Super Bowl. That's why it's amazing to me with Belichick and Tom Brady. What they've done in the 21st century in free agency is astounding. I mean, people don't realize how hard that is to do. And the Saints right now, they didn't really take advantage of Drew Brees winning one Super Bowl. In 2011, they broke the new greatest show on turf. They broke all the Rams records in 2011. They had 5 turnovers, took the lead twice. With 5 minutes left in the game against the 49ers on the road, they lost that game. We all know what happened last year. The Saints, with a lot of luck right now, could have been in 3 Super Bowls for sure, too. I mean, it is that hard to get there. And like I said, the Saints are right there, but what does that mean? It doesn't guarantee you anything because the teams change. It's new faces. You got to start all over again. No, and right now, it's a tough pill to swallow. The fans are just devastated here because they had so much hope in this team. And realistically, when you look from the beginning to the end, the Saints were in the conversation. If they weren't the best team, they were in that conversation.
Did you want to fight somebody after that game ended?
Fight somebody? I can't say this. It's terrible. It's like I can tell you this: the officials could not stay in New Orleans. They had to move hotels. They had to move a hotel that no one knew where they're at out of town at least 15 miles. They had to get out of Dodge. They had to leave New Orleans, and I don't want to threaten anyone, but it was. Listen, the NFL's lucky there wasn't a riot in the Dome. Those kind of things could cause a riot at home. Now, the reason why there was no riot, everyone was so frustrated, because there was no Rams fans. They had like 12 Ram fans in the whole Dome. Now, if they would have played a team like the Eagles, who has a strong fan base, and the Cowgirls, like Dallas, no, something could have went down that is not good for the NFL. And you never want to see that. We never want to be Europe where you have security and, there are soccer games and football hooligans, however you describe them. But, no, it's that serious. You could not – listen, a judgment call is a judgment call. That was beyond any type of judgment.
Bobby, give your voice a rest.
All right. I'm hyperventilating. I'm still stressed out.
Thank you, Bobby. Good to talk to you again.
All right, Dan.
That's the Cajun Cannon, Bobby Hebert. Also played in the USFL. Played for the Saints. I love that accent. If you missed any of our interviews this week from the Mercedes-AMG Man Cave, just go to the Dan Patrick Show app where you can watch and listen from inside the Mercedes-AMG Man Cave. Mercedes-AMG, driving performance.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.